I was just having such a great time working with Amy. I felt like we were really in sync that it just occurred to me one day, oh, this would be a really fun movie to direct. And I haven't done that before. I've directed TV that I didn't write, but it just seemed right, and so I went with it. And I think I was correct. We've had a fantastic time the entire shoot, during all of the writing, and it's been a rare, wonderful experience. Amy's character is someone who, it's not the person who can't get a date, it's the person that maintains distance from people by having a lot of relationships and cheating on people and drinking and smoking pot. So she's avoiding intimacy by having a lot of contact with people. So it's a different type of comedic character than we usually see in these types of films. She's supposed to be a train wreck. She causes destruction. She doesn't realize that she's hurting people, and she doesn't realize that she's stuck. And the movie, is about what does this type of person do when they meet the right person and they're not really emotionally ready for it. Amy is a journalist who writes for a magazine called Snuff Magazine, which is a men's magazine that is kind of snarky, and it's a combination of a lot of modern men's magazines. And it's a little bit of a metaphor for being shut down emotionally and being judgmental of other people. And it's hopefully a fun place to visit. We've got some great actors in those sequences: Randall Park, Jonathan Glazer, Vanessa Bayer, and Tilda Swinton. So we had a blast shooting all these scenes where they were trying to figure out what articles to write for this magazine. Aaron Connors is a brilliant surgeon who probably hasn't had a real relationship in maybe never. We don't know. All we know is that 6 years ago he dated someone for 5 weeks. But he thinks now's the time when he should be in a relationship. And he's a little bit like a scientist. He thinks he can fix anything. And on some level, he probably wants a more emotional woman to help him come out of his shell. Aaron's best friend in the world is LeBron James. And so in the movie, whenever he talks about his relationship problems, he's talking about them with LeBron James. We had an idea that usually this would be the Bruno Kirby part, like in When Harry Met Sally, and what if it just happened to be the greatest basketball player who ever lived. So Bill and I went out to lunch one day with him to pitch him on this idea, and he was hilarious and totally got the joke and was very easy to be around. And we just had a fantastic time shooting this movie with him. It was funny because while he was shooting, just every day, just in the chair next to us, was the Babe Ruth of basketball. But he's actually a really, really funny guy who is a very good actor, is very comfortable with himself. And when we would throw ideas at him, as if he was a trained comedian from Second City, and when we asked him to improvise, he was very, very good at it and got into the spirit of it. We thought that she would be great to play Amy's sister, so we just asked her to do it. We didn't read anybody for it. We just begged Bree, and she said yes. And she brings a lot of warmth to the movie. She's also very funny, and I think is one of the great actresses right now in America. A lot of time on the set, we would all think it was funny that she was even in the movie. You could feel like in 5 years you're gonna be like, and can you believe she was also in that movie? She just elevated everybody. We had this idea that there would be a boyfriend, and we thought, what kind of boyfriend can she be awful to where the audience won't be very mad at Amy? So we thought, well, maybe he's just an incredibly handsome guy, so then you're not afraid that he won't get another girlfriend. And maybe, he's just in incredible shape. And so we said, let's read some wrestlers. And, we got a tape of him reading the scene, and he was hysterical. Then we did a table read, and we had him read at the table before we hired him, and he got bigger laughs than anyone in the entire movie. And we just, fell in love with him as a comedic actor. And then on the set, every scene, he improvised his ass off, said some of the strangest things I've ever heard, and is a great gentleman. So, you know, he was definitely the, you know, the comedy rookie of the year on our movie.